Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum,
I'm Sam.
and today we're having a look at the Morris of Rutherglen single malt whiskey.
Alrighty, so back with another quarantine episode. This is the Rutherglen signature, signature malt, single malt that they do. This one is an Australian distillery, which is very unique and exciting for us. I don't have any in front of me, unfortunately, so we're going to be relying on Curly's notes. But I'll be excited to try it when we can finally do it in person again. But basically, it's exciting to find an Australian whiskey in general because it's not super popular. But it's even more exciting is that it's broken that kind of not tradition per se, but just the rhythm and kind of the similarities of with Australian whiskey, that it has to be really expensive and really small bottles, because everything you get here is just, we've mentioned it a fair few times before, but it's basically 500ml bottles and kind of like above $200
Except for
minimum.
Starwood.
Except for Starwood. Starwood's but this one is coming in at like $95, $100 for the signature, and they've also got a musket barrel finished version of it that's like 130. But they're both 700ml bottles, so nothing to complain about there. Sitting right about in the fat point of the bell curve with pricing in Australia for everything. So I'm excited. The Rutherglen estate is not new to the game. This is their first release. The two that we mentioned, the signature and the musket finish, they are their debut releases for whiskey, but the estate itself is not new at all. They have been running for quite a long time as a winery, making I believe what they're known for is their dessert wines.
1859 is when they started.
No, that's a while. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, they're well renowned, these guys, but they're fortified.
So they're quite knowledgeable, which, as we've said so many times, it's such a good base when you've got something, when you've had a foothold in the industry. One, it's a good base for like the probability of your business going well, but it's also good because you've got so much knowledge and industry connections and stuff. You've got people you can get barrels with, swap it for. You understand how it all works. It's just the distillation part that's new, but you'd easily be able to get someone in if you're already a prominent winery. You'd easily be able to hire someone who knows what they're doing. So it's just so good that the pricing is not too bad and the bottle size is not too small. So I'm excited. You messaged me today saying it's actually really nice.
I had a glass before dinner.
I'll be excited to try it myself. So what's it like?
I mean, I've only had that much out of it. But initially, this is one of the only whiskies I've ever actually read a review on before I bought it. I do that with most Australians because some Australian whiskey, as you said, is just hellishly overpriced, and I don't want to spend that much money for just like a whiskey for that price.
Kind of been screwed over before with Australian whiskey, so we are a bit more cautious.
So Aussie whiskies I always actually read up about, and this one somewhat cheap and got good reviews from what I read. One of the reviews said it is a Scotch, basically. Has like really basic Scotch notes, and I went, all right.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
And initially, first glass I had, it reminded me of Aberlour because it has it's like a Speyside cherry cask finish because it's got that
nice.
Yeah. So it's
if they can do anything, you would think it would be like sherry, just like fortified wine, dessert wine finish.
So it has got that sweet finish to it, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
But on the nose, it's like earth, nut, a bit of floral, honey, and dried fruits. So it's like a really nice classic Scotch as well.
From what I read, some of the notes people were giving were like, pardon me, like kind of chocolate ripple sweetness, like a light chocolate mixed in with some like grapes and stuff like that. A bit of Christmas spices going on, like kind of apple pie, but not like a bourbon, but the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and stuff like that. Like there was a nice amount of just kind of background spices going on.
I get the Christmas spice.
All sounds
I get the
good.
chocolate, though.
Yeah. All of it sounds good to me.
Excuse the wind if you can hear that, because it's...
Oh my god, it's
like
crazy.
It's like 100...
Grace is like, can you shut the door properly? I'm like, it's shut. The wind is just nuts.
It's like 100k
it's
wind.
just banging. Yeah, no, it's
pretty wild.
It's bad. It's really bad. It's bad here in Melbourne as well. I don't know if it'd be worse or better where you are. Probably worse.
We'll probably lose power and this recording will go to... up in the air.
Nice. Nice. You can film it on your phone with your cellular.
But anyway, the nose is really nice on this, and you can get the sherry, or not sherry. In fact, you get that
musket.
Is it musket?
Yeah. No, sorry. I thought you were gonna say you can get the other one.
You get some
musket finish.
It smells finished, but we don't know if it's finished in something.
Well, so the casks they use an array of casks for both. Obviously, the musket barrels for the musket one, but the signature, the single malt, is they use American white oak. New oak. Sorry, I think it was new bourbon barrels, French oak barrels, Cab Sav red wine barrels, Shiraz. There's a bunch of things. It's like they're doing quite a big mix of barrel contributions when with their single malt. And I mean, they're a winery. They've got a lot to run around with and experiment with, which is something I very much envy, because good wine barrels are not goddamn cheap.
Yeah.
Like, they're a lot. So
I forgot how good the taste was. It's a bit.
I'd like to mention.
Yeah, go for it.
Just the absolute like scar that your pizza burn has turned into.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
If you watched our other episode, he had video, fresh pizza the other night and dropped molten hot cheese on his chin.
Good old bocconcini. It's kind of bad. It's getting really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. I thought you were just like being dramatic the other day, but like
no,
it's actually really bad.
I've
never seen a bocconcini burn like that.
But yeah, it's not as deep and rich as like Aberlour or anything like that. Like that's got some heat behind it as well. This is a bit cool, a bit thin, a bit light on, but those core flavors are still there.
40%.
Yeah,
it is 40%. So that not that Aberlour is much higher unless you get the Abernard.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also the Aberlour is, I think, at least 12 years old, and I'm not sure how old this is. Definitely not 12, but I don't know. But also, the colour looks deep, and I don't know Australia's laws to E150 food dye.
I don't know either.
So.
But anyway, the flavours from the nose continue onto the palate. So what you smell is what you actually get in the palate, which is really nice. Especially when the nose is so nice as well. It's just probably a bit more brown sugar on the palate as opposed to on the nose. But
so would you put it like, basically, it's, if you could put it anywhere, it's the closest to a Scotch, or does it taste literally like a Scotch, or is it just very Scotch-like? Like, is it,
it's very, very Scotch-like.
Okay, so you could easily confuse it as a Scotch.
If someone poured this, I'd say it's a Scotch.
Okay. Are there any like unique notes that you've pulled? That's a problem. We need to delve into more Australian whiskies, because we want to see, like we said with Balcones, where I know that that's not just Texas, but it's a distillery on its own that has like, we've come across repeating notes that are unique to that distillery. We need to figure out what Australia tastes like, but I think as of now there isn't really a taste.
There's nothing.
It's very similar to Scotch in some areas of Australia. It's very similar to like parts of America in some areas. It's hard to really know, you know.
There's nothing similar on the taste, but on the nose, you know how we get that weird mustiness on like a bakery hill and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
It's some of that.
I just got sharp perfume from that.
I always get
heaps of sharp perfume.
I always get this weird non-offensive mustiness on Australian whiskies. I don't know if it's like our barley or whatever we use, but I always get it to some degree. Like Starwood is very minimal. Bakery Hill, I got it quite a bit, and then this it's
Starwood, I got none of it.
hidden a little bit.
Bakery Hill, I don't even remember. I genuinely, when we go back, I'm going to try it and we'll do like a little, I don't know if we'll make it a separate episode, video or anything, but I do want, maybe it's just like on a little plus on the episode, the review we do, a little just like quick retasting of the Bakery Hills to see where we're at. I definitely want to try the Muscat one as well.
I reckon try
compare
this.
that.
I reckon you'll love this. I reckon this is easily the best Australian whiskey we've had.
Yeah. Well, no, I definitely want.
It's bad
I'm obviously
because
gonna try that.
I think it's bad because it's more like a Scotch, but I think that's why. I like
That's
it.
why we like it. Yeah.
But this shows what Australia is capable of, especially when they have the right equipment. Being an old winery that's world renowned, good access to barrels. So
yeah. They're using like a hybrid still as well. It's like a hybrid column and pot still kind of thing. Yeah, no, I don't know. They know what they're doing. So like, I'm assuming that they're going to keep coming out with good stuff. I'm excited to try that one, and I think we should also purchase the Muscat release.
Yes.
Those are the only ones they've released so far, and we'll keep an eye on the distillery to see what else they release. Hopefully all just as affordable. And
I wonder
just
if the
same size.
I wonder if the reason if they are so accessible is that they are established and selling wines, like really expensive wines as well.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know if that's 100% of the reason why they can, but it's a big contributing factor. Like, that's a massive amount of overhead that is no longer there. Like, sourcing good barrels, if you want to experiment, is a lot of money. Like, and having people in the industry that, like, you would be able to have the sommeliers and stuff, the blenders and stuff for all the wine that can contribute to doing that, to tell you what would go well with these notes in the whiskey and stuff. They already know, like, what it all tastes like, how it tastes, like, for how long in certain barrels, what the effect is when you mix them with this and that and stuff. Like, it's all these, like, questions that you would have to only get the answer from by trying it and waiting years and years until you see the taste. And obviously there's no way to know exactly, but like that's a lot of knowledge and skill and equipment and you know, stuff like that that just is there. Like, obviously they bought it in the first place, they paid for it, but it's like, it's still not an extra thing they have to pay for. And people in the industry, if you've been around since how long? When would you say 18 or 1950 or whatever?
1859.
1859. Imagine the reach you have with the industry, people in the industry, like, to help you, and also to help you with, like, not just making and tips and tricks, but also like just like marketing, and who can help you at getting it on the table and stuff, out on the shelves. Like, it makes a massive difference. Yeah. So I think they've been very smart with that by doing it all. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with a gin as well, as is the Australian way. But
pump out as much as you can with what you have.
Might as well. Gin's easy as. Like, they know what they're doing. You don't have to age it. Alrighty, thank you very much for watching this episode of Everything Whiskey. If you liked it, leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. If you do, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.